Hello and good evening, my dears. This is Suzanne Knabe-Nicole from Police Science Doctor. PoliceScienceDoctor.com is a website with lots of free online resources for learning for anyone working in law enforcement or anyone having an interest in law enforcement. What I do is I translate research that is relevant to the law enforcement community and I put it into something that you can consume. So I translate it into videos, for example. I translate it into a podcast. I create videos from scratch that cover certain topic areas of learning, or I take some articles that I think would be really relevant and I create a video about those articles, because most working in the police community can't access articles. They are behind a paywall and I want you to be able to access them. So I'm just going to close the window here. So Police Science Doctor is a free online resource for all of you interested in police research, criminology, investigative psychology, forensic psychology, anything that is to do with making policing better. So one of the things I do is I come to you online on this platform on a Tuesday evening to tell you about the police science snippets. Now, every week, if you subscribe to my email list, which by the way is free, you get these science snippets emailed to you. So there are 3 golden nuggets of information that I've extracted from research articles. I've sent them to my subscribers already, so they've got them in their inbox. They've got the original article that they can refer back to and actually read the article themselves, if they can access the whole article, if they've got access to that. Some of them, unfortunately, can only read the abstract. That is unfortunately beyond my control. Apologies for that. The other thing that I do, I already mentioned videos I create, but also I am planning a conference. The conference is happening on the 22nd of April. Let me just show you what this conference is all about. Right, okay, so that was the information about the conference. As you've seen, there's going to be short training sessions, round about 10 minutes each. You know, you're not going to be sitting in a conference where you think, oh my God, it's another Zoom conference. First of all, it's not on Zoom. It's going to be streamed live on social media. So you're going to get short, sharp training sessions on a variety of topics. You just saw what the topics were here. The conference is free for you to attend, because I want as many people as possible to get an introduction to what is possible in the field of behavioral science and policing. Now, if you go to this website, policesciencedoctor.com/RFC for Rapid Fire Conference, you can sign up there. Just put your name into the form and you will be kept up to date with all the information about the conference. And you will also be added onto the email list that I mentioned earlier. So you'll get the science snippets, you'll get all the other announcement. When there's a new video out that might be of interest to you, I will send you an email about that as well. So that's the conference. The other thing I would like to tell you about is the first course that's going to be launching soon in the Police Science Doctor Academy. Now that's going to be launching in May. And what the course is about, it's about mental health and policing. So I've spoken to, and I've interviewed here live on air, and so many of you have actually already seen that, Ginny McKenna. She's a coach who specializes in helping frontline police staff and frontline police officers, anyone working in law enforcement, to deal with stress and to work through stress. So the course is called Emergency Stress Pit Stop. You can see more information on policesciencedoctor.com/GM1. So these are the 2 things I wanted to remind you of. But now let's get to the snippets. Let's get rid of this and show you that. Now, this week, as usual, 3 snippets. First one is criminal spatial behavior or geographic profiling. the snippet that I extracted from research to tell you about. So these snippets are always something that are immediately actionable or something you can take into consideration straight away. It's nothing theoretical. It's always something action-driven and practical. Individuals use their home base as a psychological or environmental anchor. In terms of offenders, it seems they form a mental template of their environment in which the home base is the center. So maybe you've seen it already when you're looking at an offense series, for example, where you know they are linked. So you've got good MO information suggesting they're linked. You've got maybe forensic evidence suggesting they're linked. So when you have a series and so you've got a big map here, for example, and the series seem to be concentrated in a cluster, which makes sense because people don't offend randomly, people don't move randomly, they don't travel randomly, okay? Everything that they do makes sense to an extent. So when you've got a cluster here, now think back to what I've just read. They form a mental template of the environment in which the home base is the center. So, if this seems to be going in all directions, they are more likely than not to be living within that circle of offenses and possibly within the center, because they might go offending here first and they don't want to become known in this area for offending. So they might start offending here and then here and here. But what this does, everything that actually points to their home location. So their home location, their anchor is not going to be at the edge of their mental map. So, if this is the mental map, then it's not going to be on the edge somewhere. It's going to be on the center. And they're going to be aware. They've got an awareness space of things around them, top, right, center, bottom. So that is something to take into consideration when looking at series of offenses, for example. The second snippet is about rape myths acceptance. So rape myths are basically things that we, society, mainly males, but not only, used to say or think in reaction to a rape, for example, and it's always victim focused. Why did she this? Why didn't she do this? Why did she wear this? Why did she drink so much? Why didn't she go home with a friend rather than by herself? Why did she rather than why did he rape her? Why did he target her? Why did he accost her when she was so drunk? Why did he follow a female who was on her own? So rape myths are always, in a way, blaming the victim for what happened, when it was actually the offender who made it happen, not the victim. We never say to someone who's robbed in the street, oh, why did they wear that nice watch? Why did they have that on display? It's their watch, they can wear it. It's the robber who committed the crime. We don't blame the victim. We don't blame someone who's had their car stolen for having a nice flashy car, for driving through an area where somebody might see that car that might then want it, But in rape, some people still do blame the victim. So that's rape myths. And it does include other things that I'm not going to necessarily get into now in terms of what people think women actually experience rape like, why they make allegations and all of that. But this is not what I'm going to cover here. So the snippet is, a systematic review showed that police perceptions of victim credibility appear to be connected to case decision-making, which are likely to be related to attributions of blame and rape myths acceptance. So victim credibility is when the offender and the victim were drinking, and the offender raped the victim. It was the offender who caused the offense to happen, but the victim still gets blamed because they drank too much. Somehow the offender gets blamed less because they drank too much. So this whole thing, there's a lot of inequality in here, and that is pervasive in society. And when you think back to the interview I did a few weeks ago with Dr. Patrick Tidmarsh, we need to stop asking why did she or why didn't she. We need to start asking, as I already said, why did he? Now, why did he get so drunk that he became dangerous to a person? Why is he allowed to get drunk when he can't control himself, or when he oversteps the line, when he does something that he doesn't have permission to do? So these rape myths are still present in society. A number of people from that society become police officers, become investigators, become detectives, and they investigate rape offenses. They don't suddenly become immune to rape myths because they join the police, unless they've had targeted training to do away with those. myths and misconceptions. So they, unfortunately, still carry some of those rape myths into the profession with them. And they may get involved in police decision-making about whether a case is credible or not, whether a victim is credible. Other rape myths include things like, well, why does she remember this on one day and then some other day she remembered that? Why is she not more or less upset? Why did she wait this long? It's just this lack of understanding for what victim behavior is, and this unrealistic expectation of what a victim should present like, what they should come across like. So when something doesn't fit with how we might expect a raped victim to react or to present themselves, we might start to doubt their account. So this is very, very problematic because it's very subjective and is often very incorrect. But unfortunately, that does creep into decision-making. So we need to be very cognizant of that. And the final police science snippet for today is about interviewing sex offenders. And it goes as such. Interviewers hold more negative attitudes towards sex offenders as compared to other offenders of other offenses. And these attitudes impact negatively upon the quality of interview technique. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you know that I talk a lot about bringing empathy into the interview room. No matter what the accusation is, no matter whom you've got in front of you, you will get more from the suspect, whether they're innocent or guilty, if you show them empathy, you show them respect. I'm not saying you should be below them in any kind of hierarchical way. Neither should you be above them. You should be on an equal level. You should give them the respect that you should give to any human being. You should not put any pressure on them. You should be very understanding. You should listen really well with empathy, and you should create an environment where it's safe for them to disclose what they did do and what they didn't do, whether they committed the offense or not. They can help you in your investigation, but only if you make it safe for them to actually speak to you freely and openly. So if you walk into the interview, though, with a negative attitude because of what they're accused of doing, and maybe they did do that, that actually doesn't help your interview. It actually doesn't help your investigation. So unfortunately, whilst you're dealing with the person, you need to put your own feelings about this person back and just try and be there, fully present, and understand them without judgment. There's no room for judgment in the interview room, okay? Because as we've seen here, negative attitudes can actually negatively affect the quality of the interview. Not whether the offender is happy and has a good experience, but the quality of the interview. So if your negative attitude causes worse quality of interview, that can have an impact on the investigation and the victim and future victims, okay? You don't want that responsibility on your shoulders, do you? So just leave your judgment at the door, leave your own personal emotions at the door, but be fully present and be open and allow the suspect to open up to you. These are my science snippets for this week. I hope you find them useful. I hope you join this Police Science Doctor email list if you haven't already. I hope to see you at the conference on the 22nd of April. I hope you'll have a look at the emergency stress pit stop course. So that's for high-performing police officers who are facing stress. If you're running around the racetrack, at some point you need to pull over, get the tires changed, looking at the brake pads, looking at the shock absorbers, get refueled so you can go back in the race, because otherwise you'll just stop moving, okay? So we need you to be on your best form, and a lot of police officers really struggle with mental health. And this course that we'll be publishing, it allows you to pull over, get yourself sorted so you can get back in the race. I wish you a wonderful week, and as always, bye-bye.
Thank you for watching. I hope you found this content useful. You can get access to each episode's transcript with key learning points, timestamps, and references if you get yourself onto my mailing list. Just go to the main website on policesciencedoctor.com, and on the bottom of each page you will find a sign-up form for notifications of new content. Just enter your first name, your preferred email address, and the type of organization you work for. You will not get any spam. This is just for me to let you know about new content and for you to get access to all the transcripts.